In this video, I thought I'd get away from our usual format. Normally, I do a how-to type video or I might do a layout update video, but occasionally I get stuff sent through the post or have an idea or I buy new stock, and those subjects kind of fall through the cracks. So this video is one of my 4 seasonal updates during the year. So this is the first one. It's spring 2021. Hi, welcome back to Chadwick Model Railway. I'm Charlie. I've ran trains from the helix up into the main layout before, but the tracks were never in properly, as it were. It was just a little bit of a hodgepodge just to test the system out and see if the inclines were right. But this time the boards are in and fixed, and there's the downline. On the upline, it's definitely worth a mention that as I've used DCC Concepts power base throughout the upline of the helix, which is on the outside because it's less steep, you need to continue the power base right out up to the where the track flattens out, because you won't just end it at the helix, because whilst your loco might be here where my incline does get much more shallow, you could still have 8 or 10 coaches or half a load of wagons on the helix, and therefore still having that much drag. So if you do need to use the DCC Concepts power base, is to continue it right up until your train is off the helix. If you're a regular on the channel, you'll know that I prefer to use copy decks to secure my track, because it doesn't dry hard, it keeps its elasticity, and if I need to pull the track up before I ballast, it's relatively easy, and there's no damage, and the copy decks will just peel off. So it gets my vote, as it were. And of course it goes off within sort of half an hour, so that's no big shakes either. A set of droppers on each main piece of track again, and these are size 1602, and I just need to feed this one into the fish plates at the other end, pull it down, pop it in position, and then using the Pico 6-foot way gauges for streamlined track, we then make sure that we've got the right separation between the two tracks. Which should make the curves nice and smooth. So now all we need is some weights. And that will dry in no time. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the little bell icon and go for all, then you get a notification every time I release a new video. Now here's a nifty little track voltage tester sent to me from Golden Valley Hobbies, and again there'll be a link in the Show More tab. And there are 3 LEDs. If the voltage is below 5 volts, none of these will illuminate. If it's between 5 volts and 9, then you just get the red, and then these progressively light as you come over 9 volts and up to 12, and if 12 volts or more, you get all 3 LEDs lit. But the good thing about it, it's good for DC and DCC. So if you have a DC layout, and let's say right over the far end of the layout, there's not much voltage along, so you can always pop this on the track and see if there's a voltage drop. And I'll show you on this DC controller how it works. So here we are with my ancient Duet controller, and if I zoom in a little bit and then I turn up the voltage slowly, you can see the red light comes on, showing that I've got at least 5 volts on the track, and then a bit further the 9 volts comes up, and when I wang it around to full I get 12 volts. And I quite like that, because it saves running around your layout with a multimeter trying to figure out what is actually going on. So on my own DCC layout, Obviously when I pop it on the tracks, all 3 lights come on because I should be round about 15 volts. You have to hold it at a slight angle because of the way the tabs work, and on the back you can see there's some resistor, transistor sort of bits to make it work, and it's absolutely brilliant. If I put it onto this frog here, it won't light because this frog is switched. So there you don't have current flowing, yet here you do. It's great for fault finding and to confirm that you've got the right voltage running around your track. Golden Valley Hobbies. Details are in the Show More tab. Well, at last, the 2 lines that run to and from the helix are now complete. They're all glued down, and where these lines and the 2 lines from the branch station join the rest of the layout, there are 8 insulated rail joiners, so 2 per track, and the reason for that is this is one power district and this is another. So on the helix side we have a DCS 100 from Digitrax, which is in a booster mode, whereas on the other side of the layout we have a Digitrax DCS 240, which is the main brains of the layout. Now, people often mention that they have no real grasp of the size of the room or the size of the layout. Well, the room is about just over 5 meters wide, and it's not that much difference in the length of this layout across the other dimension. And here we can see the eastern helix, and then if I slowly pan around, we can see that's where the branch station will be going above the helix, and where those few high mechs are, that's the throat to the branch station. And as we can see, there's the base of the fiddle yard underneath, and then the 2 lines join up from the helix and the branch station. We then move over to the viaduct scenery, and then into the older part of the layout. And from here we can head down towards where I will build the station, which will probably be in the summer months this year, and then on towards the far end where I built or cut in the river scene. Now this is the embarrassing bit now as I pull the camera around, because this is my workbench area where the next helix and all the goods facilities will be built. You can see this table just here is where I'm working on the main fiddle yard board, where the eastbound sidings meet the westbound sidings, and we have 12 points and obviously 12-point motors to go with it, and obviously block detection and everything else. And as you could imagine, this is a good few days work. I do like to keep the fiddle yards behind these cloths because it keeps the dust out whilst I'm working. And as you can see, it's a fair old size. And the board I'm working on comes into here. Now, as you may know, I'm a Digitrax kind of guy, and this is one of their standard UP5 panels, and you can obviously just click in your handset and control your locos. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Steve Smith from Railway Laser Lines decided to make me a couple of these nifty little fascia panels. And quite straightforward, all I need to do is remove the 2 screws, and in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier, and I think it's rather nifty. And it brings a bit of personalisation into your layout. So I will thank Steve. You're a good guy. I like them, and you'll see these dotted around the layout. And if you're interested in one, there should be a link in the Show More tab down below. And all I need to do for Digitrax is remove these 2 screws, take that facade off, and then you screw the new one on, pop it back into place. What could be simpler? So there we are, Steve Smith from Railway Laser Lines will make you your own customised panel. Now with the helix connected on both the down line and the up line, perhaps it's time for a test. So we've got one of my favourites, a Class 50, pulling a stack of Mark II coaches, and we'll see where we get on. But please excuse me, I know there are no crew fitted. I hang my head in shame. Well, it appears I've pushed in the radiator grills. It's another little job I've got on. Well, that all went swimmingly well, but it wasn't by luck, because in a few tests that I've done previously, I've noticed that there is no room for tension lock couplings on a helix. They are absolutely dreadful, because the knuckles of the couplings tend to rise over each other on the way down. And of course, you can't just use it to go up, you've still got to get the train down the helix. So what I've reverted to on the Bachmann coaches with these kinematic couplings is this hose affair. But of course then, if you use the hose into the NEM couplings, you've got yourself a permanent or semi-permanent rake of perhaps 8-10 coaches, which isn't really manageable if you want to split the coach, because if you tend to take them apart, they all come off the rails. It's a bit of a palaver, really. But as I'm kind of running fixed rakes, it shouldn't matter too much. But there we are. That's the only downside so far with the helix, is the couplings. And I will probably change the loco to coach couplings into KDs, because obviously I do need to move my locos around, but keep the coaches raked up together. So what should we do next? Well, I've got a little steam train here with 3 or 4 of the old Pullman coaches, so we'll send that one down and see how that one gets on. And that one's got magnetic couplings. Let me think about it. Who are they by? Hunt couplings. There we go. And they're from Hunt couplings. And again, as long as you've got the distance of the coupling right, so the close couplings don't work very well on the helix, because I've tried that on a Mark II. That didn't work out too well. But we'll see how these fare. After we do that one, we'll then send my sexy, where is it, over there, my sexy reverse colour Pullman down there, which I haven't risked putting down there. It's a 600-pound train, and we'll take that one slowly. So let's send the steamer down and follow it with a Pullman. Now sadly this little excursion is not without its problems. Can you hear these little clunks in this area of the track? Now that's disappointing to say the least, so it looks like I've got a bit of work to do. Well, that Pullman's a little bit of a disappointment, so I think what I'm going to have to do is check the inside track on that helix as well, run a few more trains up and down and see if it's a Pullman issue or whether it's a helix issue. I'm not too sure which one I prefer, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, seriously, right. Onward. I received one of these in the post the other day. This is interesting. It's a Cyber Clean, a high-tech cleaning compound. And what it appears to be is a cleaning gel. So let's open it up and have a look what it's all about. Clearly didn't open it right straight away. Oh, I see. It's in a self-sealing bag. Still that gross. Oh, right. Let's have a little look. What the? Yes, it's certainly a gel. Is it going to wrestle me to the ground, I think? Okay, this is rather different, isn't it? And what you do is you dab it on your products and it takes off the dust. So I've got a couple of shunters here, so let's have a look if it works. Well, hopefully you can see nice and close now. So if I dab this on the top of my delicate little shunter, does it work? Well, actually, yes, it does. And it takes off the dirt. on the delicate little areas. How nifty. I don't know if you can see the difference. Let's find something a little bit more obvious. Right. Something a bit more obvious, the roof of this coach perhaps. Yeah, there we are. This is quite good, isn't it, really? Let's find something even dirtier. Now, I would normally clean my locos with a large, soft paintbrush. Like so. But as you can see, sometimes all you seem to be doing is moving the dirt around. So let's see if it works on this. I don't know if you can see these tiny fragments of dust that are coming off, especially around the sort of the delicate areas of the pipework. It's certainly bringing off some of the muck. It just seems quite a bizarre product. But there we go. Hopefully you can see there the stuff that is lifting off. And I suppose you could use it for almost everything, couldn't you? I'm sure you could use it on your track, but I think I'd rather use a vacuum cleaner. But on buildings and the like, I'm sure it would do rather well. And there it is, CyberClean, high-tech cleaning compound. And obviously all you do is when you're done, pop it back in the bag and reseal it. And obviously the packet shows you using it on railway lines and model ships and the like. But if it's all a bit finer detail really, yeah, why not? CyberClean. Available from Golden Valley Hobbies, and there'll be a link in the Show More tab. Now, in hope of fault finding, I'm just going to send this Western down the helix, exactly the same line but into a different siding. So we'll put that up to speed 30. I'll leave the sound switched off and we'll see how that functions. But if you see me suddenly run across the room, you'll know that she's in trouble. So what does the next few months entail with the channel? Well, I've got some signals to review. Simon no one likes that. No one likes that noise, do they? That one didn't even get as far as the helix. I think it's a coach back to back, to be honest. Anyway, looking forward with the channel. What's next? In 2 weeks' time, I shall probably do a video on signals. That's a comparison between different types of, or different manufacturers of signals, from Absolute Aspects, Train Tech, these kind of things, to show you what you get for your money, because the amount of difference in the price you pay is enormous. So I'll have a look at the top of the range and the bottom of the range, and perhaps a couple in the middle, and see which way to go perhaps. What else have I got in the channel? I've got some stuff coming on speed measuring. I've already acquired 2 devices and maybe a third to measure track speed. So we'll evaluate those options, and also how my locos are performing. You know, is their speed accurate to their scale? A couple of weeks ago I did a video where, as I mentioned, that a unfitted freight should not run faster than 30 miles an hour. So we'll look at speed, and especially on model railways, because if you go to some shows, let's say, you may see trains going careering around and others go crawling around. And you know, just because it looks right, you know, on the meter or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean it looks right on the layout. So sometimes what looks right is the best thing for you. Any other developments coming up? Well, I've got to finish this rather large board and get that one in. The next 3 boards are on order, and that's just simple track laying around this corner, 9 tracks around the corner, and there's only 1 point on those 3 boards. So we should be able to turn that corner and then look at the next helix once I've sorted this one out. There we go. Enough of me gobbing off. I think we'd call it a day. So I'd like to thank the people who donate to the channel, and of course my patrons. And if you'd like to become a patron, there should be a link there, and to subscribe there should be a button there, and there should be a video here and here. And I'll see you in 2 weeks time. Thanks a lot, take care, wish me luck, bye bye.